So for my last video, we were exploring Prague and Vienna. And our next two locations to wrap up the first Interrailing trip were Munich and Stuttgart. So we arrived into Munich from Vienna, and it was a relatively easy journey. So we headed to the hotel, dropped off our bags, headed out for some dinner, and we headed into the main town to Hofbrauhaus. In the part one of the series, we actually went to one in Berlin and had a great time. So it was really nice to be back, especially in the original one, with what was a really awesome band too.
First time. That's good.
And yeah, because this was another travel day, we really didn't do much else apart from that. So the next day we headed to the BMW Museum. It was genuinely such an impressive building to just look at. It had this like 4-cylinder design, which was, I thought, a really quite fitting choice. It was only like a half an hour train ride from the city centre, so it's really easy to get to. So if you're ever in Munich, I feel like this is one of the main things you have to do, is check out the BMW Museum. Now, the outside might have been impressive, but the inside was probably even more so. It just felt like endless rooms of like historic vehicles, everything from the early motorbikes that BMW made all the way up to their motorsport division.
Look at that up there. Oh my god, they got everything.
Cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. It was just so impressive to see all these vehicles in one space, and it was like incredibly well thought out and designed in a way so that you're just almost walking through history. It was just amazing to see all the intricate details, design choices. My favorite was probably seeing all the bikes throughout the history lined up on this massive like glass panel, which was just like so sick. Their motorsport section was also amazing to see all the different race cars that they've raced over the years. And we also saw Elvis's BMW 507, which was fully restored. It was long thought to be lost. So yeah, it was quite surreal to see Elvis's actual car. Well, at least I'm pretty sure it's Elvis's actual car. My favorite car probably there was this E30 M3. I thought it was just absolutely beautiful. Me and Liv absolutely loved walking around here. And just being this incredible building was really, really cool and very much worth it. But after exploring this whole museum, we decided to head back into Munich. We took a stroll past this massive palace, which is called the Munich Residenz. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, which actually turns out to be the largest city-based palace in Germany, which was pretty cool. We didn't get to go inside or anything, we just kind of walked past it. It was just a nice day. And we explored the nearby Hofgarten as well. Just a massive garden area, really cool to explore. But to finish up our rather short time in Munich, we freshened up and headed out for one more nice meal. And we strolled into town with this beautiful sunset for one last beer at Hofbrauhaus. It had to be done. It had to be done. The beer was just that good. We both really liked Munich. It was just a really lovely town. It was a really quite peaceful city. It wasn't too like hectic. It was quite quiet. Yeah, I definitely would go back. It's definitely worth it. Very short amount of time we had there because the BMW Museum just took up most of the day. We didn't really have much else planned apart from that. So the next day, got to Munich station to make our way to the final destination of Stuttgart. It felt kind of weird knowing that this was going to be the last one. This was going to be the final train we were catching on this whole Interrailing trip. We were really excited because they had 2 car museums in Stuttgart, one being the Mercedes Museum and the other being our absolute favourite, the Porsche Museum. But we made it to Stuttgart and pretty much immediately went to the Mercedes Museum. Because we arrived so late, we didn't want to miss the Mercedes Museum because we knew the next day we wanted to head to the Porsche Museum. So we arrived and again, it looked incredible. It was like a common theme with these car museums. The architecture was just like unbelievable. These buildings looked so cool. The Mercedes Museum was just kind of like several floors of cars throughout their history, all the way from their beginnings all the way to their Formula One World Championship winning cars. It was really cool because you kind of like started in this lift and you just went straight to the top floor and worked your way down the spiral staircase. It was just really well organized and really well laid out. Some of the most stunning cars, the 300 SL and the SLR.
It's awesome inside. Oh my god. Oh, I love the lights on there.
We even got to see the Pope mobile.
Look at the gold rims.
But they also had some interactive stuff too, which was really good fun. Like this one, we had to finish the layout of some famous racetracks on the Formula 1 calendar, which we had to go at because we're big fans of Formula 1 and thought we'd test our knowledge. But yeah, it was an awesome museum with some really cool architecture, awesome cars that are highly worth checking out if you're in Stuttgart. Even if you're not a car fan, honestly, this place is really cool. So after we saw everything we could at the museum, we went back into the town and grabbed some dinner, had a walk around and saw a pretty cool palace in the city centre. It was time to call it a day there. We got ready for our final day of the trip, where we were going to head to the final car museum and probably my favourite one, the Porsche Museum. See, ever since I was a kid, I loved cars. I was always surrounded by them. I grew up watching the old Top Gear, but one brand always stood out, and that was Porsche. I was a fanatic about them and always dreamt of calling one of their cars my own one day.
Just to prove how obsessed I was about Porsches, found these old models. A GT3 model too.
So yeah, heading to the Porsche Museum was a really exciting thing for me and Liv, who is also a big Porsche fan too. To see all the buildings where they actually make like all of their cars was just surreal.
Our favourite car brand. Is it your favourite car brand?
Yes, it is.
It's my favourite car brand
I
as
love
well. This is insane. I think that's a factory over there. That's a body shop in there. It says body shop on the side, look. It's so cool.
We literally got off the train, the first thing we saw was that big statue there.
No, the train station's by there. We were like, oh, will we have to walk far? And it's like next to it.
Yeah.
I felt like the inside was probably a little less organised than the BMW or the Mercedes Museum. You know, it was just kind of like one big room with all their cars just kind of parked in the middle. But that didn't matter to me because they were all so incredible to see together and to see generations of all these different cars, all their race cars together, all the way to their latest models such as the GT3 RS. Even some strange ones like this Lego one and of course Sally Carrera from Cars. But out of all of these cars, there was one that I was really hoping to see there. One that I dreamed about since seeing it as a kid on Top Gear for the first time, and that was the Carrera GT.
Morgan's just seen something that he's very happy about. What did you see? What did you see?
My dream car, Ferrari GT. And the engine for this was originally for Le Mans and it got scrapped and they got put in that instead.
Oh, so this is the one with the
That's
like...
the one, that's the 5.7 litre V10 from this.
Ready to have a look at it? Up close?
I wish I could hear it.
And there it was, parked in the museum. I couldn't believe my eyes. It's just, I think, one of the most beautiful looking cars. Not only did we see one though, we actually saw one downstairs too. They had like a workshop area next to the cafe, and there was one just kind of parked in the corner. So I couldn't believe I actually saw two in one day. Yeah, I'd always dreamed about, you know, standing next to one of these. So yeah, there's some really cool stuff in the Porsche Museum. You know, it's just kind of one big room. There's also a cool thing where you could like pretend to rev one of their cars. They had like a little pedal on the floor that like plays a sound at you through the speaker. It's pretty cool. Probably the closest I'll ever be to actually revving a GT3 RS, maybe, I don't know. They also had like sim racing rigs there, which you could have a go at. The queue was just ridiculous for it though, so we gave that a miss, but it would have been pretty cool. So yeah, it was a really cool museum, and yeah, to see my dream car there was just like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was so cool. We didn't really spend too much time in Stuttgart really, because the museums were obviously a little bit out of the city centre, so we spent most of our time in them. So we kind of just went out for some food again, our final meal on this whole trip, and went around for a little walk before travelling home the next day. But we did come across a rather random encounter in front of the palace that we saw the day before. We saw like people just dancing on this stage, and we actually joined in.
Here we are. See, everyone's ready.
I'm pretty sure I was stepping on other people's toes and like just kept bumping into people, which was quite funny. But yeah, it was good fun. It was just a really nice way to wrap up our final evening of this trip before we had the flight home the next day. So yeah, that was the whole trip. We had an amazing time. First time that we've ever done Interrailing, so it was a new experience, and it had its fair share of challenges, like getting stranded in the middle of Germany, all the public transport, but we did it. It was really good fun. It was a great trip. We did a lot of stuff. We experienced so many new things, and it was a really great way to start off our travels for this year.